Most people use their annual salary to decide where they fit, regardless of their true financial situation. I'm sure you've heard a friend or a family member or someone at the office talk about a good salary. What is that really? Can it be looked at as a standalone number? Can one person have a great salary? You're listening to Your Money, Your Business, the podcast with me, Debbie Colburn. I'm a small business expert and a former professional accountant turned money mindset guide. And I am obsessed with helping you achieve all those things you've dreamed of and thought were out of your reach, with helping you figure this money stuff out. My goal on this podcast is to help you break the cycle of feast or famine with your cash flow and to help you grow your wealth and sustain it over the long term. We dive deep, we get real, and we get raw, discovering and exploring what is really possible for you and letting go of all those things that are holding you back. If you've ever thought it's not enough looking at your bank balance or think, I'll never get that paid off, when you open up the credit card statement, maybe you're sick and tired of constantly being worried, of just getting by, and you know you're missing out on key opportunities again and again, or maybe you're done with the constant arguments over money, then this is absolutely the right place. We'll bring you a whole new way to look at money, profit, cash, wealth, tackle the challenges, share the ideas, the tips and the tactics and the strategies, and get you connected to the right resources. Think of this as your weekly prescription of money mastery development and leave the hard work up to me. No matter what's going on in your life right now, I've got your back. Ready? Buckle up, take a deep breath, and join me in a conversation about breakthrough to the next level. Welcome to episode 110, where we're talking all about wealth and being rich, what those mean to you now in today's world and in the future, and why that really matters. Over the past year, I've listened to more than 200 interviews with individuals and couples from all segments of the population in different levels of economic diversity, let's call it prosperity, on the topic of money. Business owners, employees, and people with side hustles, some with many millions available to them, and some struggling to put food on the table each week, and everything in between. And through doing this, it became very clear that while there is a dictionary definition for both the word wealthy and for the word rich, the concepts, in reality, when someone looked at their own life, were very, very gray, fuzzy, very unrelatable in most cases. But most of all, they were ruled out by generational thinking. In the very rare case, they were bang on or even better. So I wanted to start this podcast episode at a point that I hope most can relate. The social class system, the social ladder. But we got to talk about it. Upper class, upper middle class, lower middle class, sometimes called the working class depending on where you live, or lower class. Where would you say that your parents and you growing up would fit? Where do you think you fit now? You. Maybe you is you and a partner, you and kids, you and dogs, cats, amphibians, reptiles, horse. I see this as how you show up, how you see your value and your worth, how you value assets versus experiences and connections. And what do I mean by that? You can live in a double wide and show up every day with gratitude and kindness and curiosity, a thirst for learning, and feel your way to middle class. Or You can live in an 8,000 square foot house and not show up at all, never donate to a cause, have debt up the yin-yang, talk the big game and be fighting every day with your partner, and feel your way down to working class, never having enough, never being happy. And what if I switch that from social class, which I just have to say sends chills down my back, because for me, those classifications, doing that to people, to real human beings, feels wrong. As if one person is better than someone else as a human. It pigeonholes based on connections, resources, when you arrived on this planet, etc. It's the heart of the patriarchy and of much of what is causing unrest and discontent in the world's populations. What if it was wealthy, upper middle class, lower middle class, and poor? How would you answer those same two questions? Let me read those again. Wealthy, upper middle class, lower middle class, and poor. How would you answer those same two questions? Where would you say you and your parents growing up would fit? And where do you think you fit now, you? With maybe your partner, on your own. Maybe you've got kids, dogs, second partners, step things, kids. And take a look. Did you just classify yourself in the same category as you classified your life with your parents by chance? Yeah. There's a pretty high possibility that that's just what happened. Here's the interesting thing. Most people do, regardless of what their situation is now. Money in the bank, investments, savings, debt load, house, cars, and so on. No matter what those are, they see their situation through the lens of what they grew up in. And if you're living with a partner, you got two different classifications, right? And we'll be talking more about this in future episodes. Here's something that I have observed. Most people use their annual salary to decide where they fit, regardless of their true financial situation. I'm sure you've heard a friend or a family member or someone at the office talk about making a good salary. What is that, really? Can it be looked at as a standalone number? Can one person have a great salary and the other person in a relationship have a just make ends meet income and together have a wealthy life, a rich life, or a poor life, or a middle class life? Absolutely they can. It's up to three things: choices, perspectives, and actions. Let's call that your CPA. Did you know that the top 20% of Americans are considered upper class, with a median net worth of $608,900? Top 20% of Americans. Does that mean that everyone living in California who owns a home likely would be considered upper middle class, even if they were cash broke? Or someone in rural Saskatchewan in Canada who owns their $145,000 home with no mortgage and has a family income of $150,000 is poor? The dictionaries define wealth as having a great deal of money, resources, or assets. Anyone wondering what a great deal of is? If you've done any traveling outside of the G8 countries, the have versus the have-not countries, as some people call it, you'll know that a great deal of means a whole lot of different things. And again, I'm defining a great deal of with a whole lot of different things, depending on where you are. Even within your own country, this is true. A great deal of money in New York City is very different from a great deal of money in rural Tennessee. A great deal of used cars is very different to a CarMax versus the corner independent used car dealer. A great deal of new ideas is very different to a startup entrepreneur than to Google or Meta. Thinking back to your family with your parents, I bet there were times where a great deal of something came into your lives and it felt like overnight you'd become wealthy. Maybe dad got a new job. Maybe a sibling left home for college and freed up a room at home. Or a new car, like a different car, a working car. Maybe a brand new one, maybe a Tesla came into your lives. But nothing had really changed, had it? I believe that wealthy really means that you can weather any storm financially, any storm. That you'll have safe, comfortable housing, that there will always be good, nutritious food to eat, that you'll have the resources for your family to stay healthy, energized, and motivated. And when the storm is over, you come out unscathed, still in growth mindset, with your relationships intact and healthy, and with humanity. That's it. That's my definition of wealthy. Is there an actual number for that? Yes and no. There is only a number for you. And don't think you know that number until you've weathered a few storms, so you can figure out what size and brand of lifeboat you need to have. Really, you need to go through a few of those storms first. According to the Schwab's 2022 Modern Wealth Survey of 1,000 people ranging from age 21 to 75, Americans believe it takes an average net worth of $2.2 million US to qualify a person as being wealthy, and $774,000 to be financially comfortable. One of the hardest parts is in our heads. Is it even possible to think of ourselves as being wealthy? Really? Could you? I struggled for a very long time trying to even imagine what it would feel like to make $600,000 a year. It was unfathomable to me. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Ask a big lottery winner. It's not always easy, especially without help changing our thinking. Here's the thing. It's what we are talking about all day, every day. The beliefs we have that we got as children, and in the course of growing up in a family or in a dynamic that was mega dysfunctional, affects our ability to see our now reality in unbiased, unfiltered terms. Had money, didn't have money. Married into it, lost it all. It's all there. The experiences we had, whether or not we can put words to them or even remember specific incidents, shape how we define wealth and being rich. Those experiences, the fights we heard that were over money, over unpaid bills, over overspending, drinking, drugs, childcare, everything, create in us a need for a safety net. That is so far beyond necessary that it can cause relationships to fail. Can you have $4 million in your investments at 45 or 50 and still feel it's not enough? You sure can. Can you have that and still call yourself middle class, or consider yourself one decision away from bankruptcy? Yep, that's a hell yeah. And like everything else, there is always proof that the opposite can also be true. You can have a few $1,000s in a low-interest, low-risk TFSA savings account and feel wealthy. It depends on what you grew up hearing and seeing and experiencing, and what you told yourself about it, even if you didn't realize it. Damn the self-conscious. Each person creates beliefs differently. My brother and sister are 11 years apart, and they think very similarly in relation to wealth and richness. Me, I'm the outlier. We all grew up in the same house, heard the same things, and we still hear them today when we go to our parents' place. Do you think being rich is the same thing as being wealthy? Some dictionaries use the word rich to define wealthy. But what if they are different things? Rich for me feels more like depth, intensity, flavorful, spicy, like you would imagine in a rich soup broth. It conjures up images, engages all five senses. Wealth feels cold, tactical, strategic, institutional. Rich for me exudes the feeling of being alive, the soil that is rich in nutrients. Maybe there's a hint of evil or badness, of lack of humanity when we think of wealth. Who knows where that comes from? Who knows? What I do know is that there are lots and lots of people with a lot of wealth who are not evil or bad, and there will always be some that are. Well, journals and articles and surveys and other media tell you things like an annual gross income of $500,000 or more would make you rich, or to be in the top 1%, you need to earn $324,000 a year. To be in the top 5%, it takes $335,891 per year, according to the Economic Policy Institute. The question that is begging to be asked is, what does a rich life mean? It can't only be about the numbers, can it? Wealth is a thing, a noun. Rich is an experience, an adjective. Is it possible to have a rich life without wealth? I believe it is. And I think what that looks like is different for every single person, every family unit, every business, every community. Is it possible to have a rich life without money or a currency of some form? No. Unequivocally, no, in my opinion. Yet a rich life is not solely created on wealth, on money, on things. How do you know if you are rich in life? The first step is making sure that you have all the basics covered, that no matter what happens in your life and in your business, that you will have, as they are called in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You remember Psych 101, the bottom two layers, physiological and safety needs, taken care of. It's like those pyramids in Egypt. You got to have strong, the bottom third, it's got to be rock solid, broader than the other stuff. Otherwise, they fall down. Those are the things that, once established, keep you out of survival mode, the physiological and the safety needs. In Canada, the government uses this thing called the basket of goods and services. I always imagine that as some sort of fancy picnic basket that has all these things in it. It'd be a pretty damn big picnic basket. But it pretty much reflects these things. They call it food, shelter, household operations, furnishings and equipment, clothing and footwear, transportation, health and personal care, recreation, education, reading, and, wait for it, alcoholic beverages and tobacco. Well, essentially the last two can drop off, the recreation, education, and reading, and the alcoholic beverages and tobacco, but everything else in the basket of goods is the bottom two layers of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. They use this basket to calculate the consumer price index and the inflation rate. Then it's about the next two layers. Let's talk about those. Love and belonging and esteem. And if we posted a post on our Instagram about this. I hope you had a chance to look at it at some point in time. Attracting the things, people and places, resources and experiences into your life that fill your cup to overflowing in the areas of friendship, intimacy, connection, community, family, and in the areas of respect, recognition, achievement, and worth. The final level of the pyramid, self-actualization, is a huge word, is the icing on the cake. The cake that when you taste it is almost beyond words in deliciousness on its own. Like Martha Stewart's banana muffin recipe. It's like my grandkids are like eat them before I even get them out of the oven. Even in the lower two levels, you can design a richness into your life that is pure you. A big house or a tiny house, or a yurt in the mountains, a permanent home in one country, or a digital nomad or an RVer, a single generation in your house or multi-generation, a business, a side hustle, a career, a combination of those, a few clients or a whole bunch, one employer or four, in a corporate location, or in a home, or remotely, or a hybrid, or not at all. Bike, canoe, car, gas, or alternative, walk, run, public transport, seaplane, it's your choice. A traditional work week of 2,060 hours, or a 4-day week, or a 3-day week, or a 2-day week. A life that prioritizes health and wellness for you and each member of whatever your family unit looks like. A business that prioritizes that too. A life full of travel, of cruises or group holidays or solo trips or no travel at all. Your life full of richness is what fills that top layer on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When we started with wealth, with the questions about what it means to be wealthy. So often people get stuck on the question, what monthly salary is considered rich? And if they aren't making that, they adopt the identity of not being rich. All that is necessary to have a life full of richness is understanding that you are in control. You get to choose. No excuses. It's 100% up to you. There are limitless possibilities. In fact, some might not yet even be existence. That's part of the journey. And some might expire along the way. You get to decide what creates the richness in your life. Touch it, feel it, smell it, embrace it, taste it, love it. You get to go out and explore the world to find the things and try them on for size. You get to be introspective and discover what skills you might need to get good at and what habits might be best tossed in the trash forever. You get to curate the people into your circle who ignite that richness in you. Wealth is a byproduct of a life full of richness. I know, cliche, right? All you need to do is follow a money plan. We give you that, and craft life as if you were Aladdin, able to grant your own wishes. So this podcast got you thinking you'd like to go a bit deeper on this with me. You want to figure your money thing out? I have got so much more to share with you and to give you. And you're really ready to toss the shroud of money worries into the trash forever, to stand taller and more confidently in every decision and manifest the most profitable and successful year of your life, which means worry-free abundance in life and in business and so much more. Make sure to sign up for my free 4-week course where we're taking a deeper dive into how to transform that money situation in your bank accounts that's keeping you up at night. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All you have to do is just pop over to the link, bit.ly/boost-money-EQ. And invite a friend to go through with you, even family, or maybe coworkers or employees. It's a great way to get a money conversation going. And the more people in your community who are shaking up the scarcity mindset, the more our families and our communities will thrive. Don't be shy or embarrassed. Pass the link on to as many people as you can, because stats show that we never know what's happening in people's lives, especially when it comes to money. I cannot wait to see you inside. And yep, regardless if you sign up for TBN or not, this course is absolutely free. No strings attached. So much value handpicked for you inside it. You're for sure going to experience a transformation in a very short time. Come on, join us and have some fun. bit.ly, bit.ly/boost-money-EQ. Super excited, and I will see you there.